Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, that is correct. This is Knightline, the morning after. I am Andrew Phegley from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studios and ESPN 580. Thank you for joining us if you're here. Joining me this week, I think I'm going to change the name again of this thing because I think it's going to be called Andrew and Friends now because every week there's somebody else different. We have Roger, my good friend Roger, a.k.a. Night Bengal, with us this week. Roger, thank you so much for showing up and hanging out with us.
My pleasure. Good morning, Andrew. Super excited to be here.
All right, cool. Well, we got all kinds of stuff. We don't have a game this week, obviously. We had a bye week, which couldn't come at a better time, personally, in my opinion. So,
I agree 100%. This gives a moment for the guys to kind of collectively take a breath. That was a highly charged, a very emotional game at Cincinnati. So this lets the guys come back, take a breath, heal up, and get ready for the second half of the season.
Absolutely. All right, we are going to take your calls. We're going to do our calls in the second segment this week and just try to get a little bit of a conversation going. We got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about, but 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line to give us a call, and you can also text at 21232 on the Little Greek Fresh Grill text line. Kyle Israel will be back next week. He is opening a new store. He may call in as well, so we may hear from Kyle, we may not. He's a very busy guy, as we all know. So I have a bunch of topics that we can go over. I think one of the things that we should talk about off the start is this loss. Obviously, the two losses that we've had this season obviously are big because we're not used to that for the last couple of years. But in college football, as you well know, Roger, that's not a normal thing to go undefeated 2 years in a row. It's not normal. There's very few schools that can do that.
And that's at any level of sport, but more so at Division I. I mean, if you look at the numbers of how many high school players actually make it to Division I to begin with, then play on a top 25 team, and then go undefeated for 2 years in a row. I mean, these are the best athletes that the nation has to offer across the country. So 100% agree with that.
So in 2015, as we all know as well, that are Knights fans, we were 0-12. That happens as well in college sports. It's happened to UCF, I believe, 3 times.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So let's talk about real quick here how far we've come from 0-12 in 2015. Yes, there was a couple of new coaches involved, all that stuff. Scott Frost came along and helped that out a lot, brought kind of a new culture to UCF, and now Josh Heupel is here, and I believe continuing that. Some people don't believe that he's continuing that, but I think it's obvious that he is continuing that. So, I think it's a pretty big deal, though, coming from 0-12 in 2015 to us being upset when we have 2 losses and thinking it's the end of the world.
Well, and that's the expectation game, right? Like anyone who's been a Knight fan for any length of time understands that it's been a roller coaster ride. So it's not like we haven't been here before. And 2 losses, I mean, you're still looking at a potential of a 10-win season, which is huge in college football. From a facility standpoint, a cultural standpoint, athletic leadership, social media presence, national prestige, and again, just expectations are totally different. And nobody, I don't know if you remember, but the media conversation at that time after 2015, for us to come back, it was a big deal for us to get a 6-win season and be bowl eligible, let alone be where we are today. And then we come back and we just hit the nation in the mouth, for lack of a better term, and come back and go undefeated. Not only have we performed on the field, we've been doing it a ton on the brand building standpoint. So not only have we come back on the field, but we've also grown the program itself, the facilities, and our presence nationally. So I think with all of that comes this sense of expectation. And we haven't been here before. An undefeated season at UCF, So having folks react to 2 losses, which, by the way, came by a grand total of, what, 4 points?
4 points.
Yeah. So, I mean, expectations are super high. Yeah, it's a little bit of a letdown, but at the same time, we've got a great program, great players to support. And really, when you're looking at it on the whole, we've heard for like a year and a half now that we're going to get everybody's best shot. And I think Pitt and Cincinnati last week, if we talk about that a little later on, we really did get their best shot. We not only got their best shot, but we were their focus. So when that happens, it's almost like having a rivalry game every single week. And, you know, the one axiom in college football is if you have a rivalry game, anything can happen no matter what the team's records are going into that rivalry game. I mean, you experienced that in Kansas when you were there.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, it's a big deal. Also, Chase is here. I just want to say he's here as well, and he's not feeling too well today.
This might be my flu game.
Yeah, so you want to chime in on this as well? I mean, you're a fan of Boise, but you went to UCF.
I'm a fan of Boise. I'm a fan of UCF, which is going to make week 1 of 2021 very awkward for me.
Right.
But right now, I look at the way UCF is, like, this is the crazy thing. Like, I remember watching Blake Bortles' final year and thinking, this is the best that we're going to be. And if he stayed, we might have gone undefeated that year. Then he left to go be the third pick overall. And I don't blame him for a second. But the fact now that we've fallen from the lowest of the low, winless, to 2 years later going undefeated. Not going undefeated once, but twice. And kind of changing the whole college football landscape. And not only having that whole aspect, but having an athletic director that is pretty much like the LeVar Ball of athletic directors.
Absolutely.
He really believes in us to where he's helped sell this program to other people. We now are getting a lot more donors. We have now a Cove gating. Like, that's a thing now. And so now I know that's not going to help the whole, hey, we should pay players argument, but the
that's another thing.
That's a whole other topic for another day. But the fact still remains that if you were to say after that winless season, hey, don't worry, we're going to go undefeated for 2 years, and we're going to change the college football landscape, I would say you're probably on some drugs.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Boise State has done very well as well. And,
yes.
And we're kind of, I think that we're in that same vein with them now.
Yes.
They did it before us.
Yes.
But
I actually wrote a piece on this on ESPNOrlando.com. Plug, and how, like, Boise State.
Shameless.
I know.
It's all good.
I'm sorry. If my
it's
boss is
good.
listening, I'm sorry. But pretty much, like, when Boise State fought FSU and won, people said the phrase anytime, anywhere, kind of making fun of FSU, but some people kind of took that as a jab at UCF because of our scheduling. And in reality, we really need to be friends with Boise State because, one, they're not in our conference. I mean, up until, week 1, 2021. But the fact still remains, like, we still need to keep pressure on the committee. And the best team to do that right now is probably Boise State because they've been undefeated for so long. They had multiple seasons where they went undefeated in 06, they went again in 08, and they still didn't even get a sniff of the national championship. And this could have been another team now, but Boise was the original UCF essentially.
Yeah, and I think now Boise's getting even more of a chance because of what UCF did and the noise that UCF made. So
right.
I don't think there should be any animosity until week 1 of 2020, like you said, or 2021, whichever one it is, because we should be working as a team. Any of these schools that are having good years, we should be working as a team with them to make noise, as much noise as possible. I think that's one of the most important things. I don't care who it is, if it's another AAC team. I don't care if it's a MAC team, personally. I think that all of those teams and us should work together to make as much noise as possible.
Well, and I'll say this about that, too. I mean, with regard to Boise and the rest of the non-autonomous 5, as they like to be called, when you're talking about the argument with the college football committee and when you're talking about making an argument, because they're going to expand. It may be a few years, but they will expand. And when they expand, if they go to 8, like everybody's been floating, then we really need to make a case collectively as a group for those rest of those conferences that, hey, we put forth a compelling product. They are not wiping the floor with us. We're competitive or winning in each one of those New Year's Six Bowls. And the more teams that we have that can make that argument, the harder it is for the playoff committee to make that argument. Do I want UCF to be that team every year? 100%. I'm a fan by definition, right? But if we're not, whoever ends up stepping up to the plate and gets that chance to do that, we want them to perform well so that we're making that argument for the greater good and quite frankly, selfishly, giving us a better opportunity to be in that national spotlight.
Right, and I said this last week as well. The two teams that UCF fans should probably also root for are SMU and Boise State. SMU right now is undefeated. We don't face SMU this year, so it's not gonna you're gonna have that conflict of interest where, should I be rooting for UCF or SMU? Like SMU has the possibility of going undefeated. We might have the possibility of two Group of 5 teams going undefeated and putting even more pressure on the committee.
Well, not Memphis.
Yeah, definitely not Memphis now. We may, if for some crazy reason, it is still possible numerically, it is still possible for us to get to the American Championship game. A lot of things have to happen. If for some reason SMU is in that American Championship game and UCF are in that American Championship game, we could face them. So I'm personally extremely happy for SMU. I was a big SMU fan when I was a kid. Eric Dickerson and all those guys. That school had so much going on in those years. Obviously, it came out they were paying their players and all this stuff, but
which still happens.
Yeah, it still happens, but not a lot of people get caught doing that. But I love to see that they're having a resurgence. It's a really big deal. It's good for the American. It's good for SMU. It's good for a lot of reasons.
And honestly, when you're talking about the American and the conference as a whole, when we have other teams that are coming up to our level, and hopefully we're the bar that everybody else is moving up to, that further separates us from the quote-unquote G4, right?
Absolutely.
And the more we can separate ourselves, the better case we can make for either elevation at some point, and just from a strength of schedule perspective, if the perception, because let's be real about it, all of these metrics, a big component of it is perception. And the better the perception of the conference and the teams that we play, because that's what we get dinged on, the better it is for us in the long term.
Yeah. Hey, Chase, I don't pay too much attention to the Mountain West except for Boise right now because they're ranked number 14.
Right.
Is anybody else there any good? I mean, this year doing anything special? Is there any other ranked teams?
No. It's because with Group of 5, it's one of those unless you're undefeated, your odds are not going to be ranked. Right now, San Diego State is the only other good team right now. The Aztecs, they're 5-1.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, Hawaii was 4-1 going into their match last night, and Boise State beat them. Boise State in their division, their next opponent is 4-2, and that's Air Force and Wyoming. And so those are going to be tough games for them.
Okay, and Boise State beat Hawaii last night. It was the really super late game, 59-37, which,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is also that Hank Bachmeier, their quarterback, just went out. So we don't know the full extent of his injury. And so he was getting their freshman phenom. So I'm curious to see how they're going to do now without him.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see. But, the American as well, and we'll have a thing coming up here later talking about all the rest of the American games. The American had going into this week, 3 top 25 teams, which is great for the American. We need to have as much of that as possible. So
more than some of the other Autonomous 5 conferences. So when you're looking at it from this year's perspective, and it's kind of been building every year, us versus the other conferences, we've positioned ourselves really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's a little disappointing what happened to, say, Memphis. Losing a game there that. Temple's a good team, though. I'm a little bit weary now of Temple, that we have to face at Temple. That's, I think, going to be quite a game.
Well, we knew that was going to be a test all year, right? So the ones that we had circled were Temple and Cincy. At least I did. So Temple's defense is really its calling card, and they've managed to continue to do that, and their run game has been great as well. They use a lot of motion now. They didn't before. I watched the game actually last night, and they were using a lot of motion. So Temple is definitely one to look out for. It's to mark on your calendar, and it's not going to be an easy game.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we will be back. We're going to be taking your calls, 844-225-5580.
Hold your breath. The home of the NFL is ESPN 580 Orlando. Yes! Another triple header Sunday when the Miami Dolphins come off their bye week and welcome the Washington Redskins to Hard Rock Stadium. Kickoff at 1 p.m. Then at 4 p.m., the Dallas Cowboys look to get back on the winning track against the Saints. And Sunday Night Football sees the Steelers take on the Chargers. Then we wrap it all up Monday morning with Golick and Wingo at 6 a.m. right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
The Florida Gun Show is Saturday and Sunday at the Central Florida Fairgrounds. Concealed weapons certification classes will be taught both days during the Florida Gun Show, with a huge variety of handguns, shotguns, knives, accessories, and collector's items for purchase. You won't want to miss this show. For more information on the gun show this Saturday and Sunday at the Central Florida Fairgrounds, please visit FloridaGunShows.com. The Florida Gun Show is Saturday and Sunday at the Central Florida Fairgrounds. We hope to see you there.
Oviedo Brewing Company is the hottest microbrewery in Central Florida. Located 7 miles from UCF at the Oviedo Mall, this 8,800 square foot brewery just opened its doors 6 months ago and has already crafted 13 unique beer flavors and counting in their tap room. The tap room contains different styles of beverages, including ciders, wines, and craft sodas. Not only do they have amazing beers, they also have a full kitchen with gourmet pizzas, wings, and tacos. Oviedo Brewing has activities for each day of the week, such as Taco Tuesdays, Trivia Wednesdays, Pizza and Pint on Thursdays, plus live music on Friday and Saturday evening. But the best is Sunday brunch with unlimited beer mimosas. Need a spot for game day? Oviedo Brewing is just the place with their large TVs to catch all the live games. You also find Oviedo Brewing at UCF tailgating sampling beers. And OBC support for the Knights doesn't stop there. If you need a spot for UCF away games, come to Oviedo Brewing Company. You can get all the details on their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them at Oviedo Brewing CO. Download the Untapped app, and you can find out what beers are on tap. The food menu is also available on their website, OviedoBrewingCO.com.
This message is sponsored by the Florida A&M University Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Where I'm from, marijuana is legal. Can I use it in Florida?
Nah, it's illegal here, man.
But I have PTSD. Should I at least try to get medical marijuana?
That's legal. But if I were you, I'd talk to my doctor about qualifying conditions and to find out if medical marijuana is even right for you.
Thanks. I'll talk to my doctor.
At IDC, you're going to see more diamonds and diamond jewelry than you ever imagined in one place at prices you never thought possible.
IDC owner Keith LeClaire.
Nobody's ever accused me of not having enough diamonds. I got over 50,000 diamonds in stock, all shapes, all sizes, all price points.
We're talking 30 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores, all at rock bottom, no middleman prices, right?
We refuse to be beat on any diamond, any price, anywhere, period.
And relax. At IDC, there's no pressure, no commission salespeople, no pricing games. In fact, we'll show you the inside secrets of the diamond industry and teach you how to maximize value.
At IDC, you get to buy like a dealer buys.
All this plus a free lifetime warranty on any purchase, a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, and over 4,000 designer rings you won't find anywhere else.
We are the 800-pound gorilla, and you'll see the difference the minute you walk in the store.
International Diamond Center.
If you're in the market to buy a diamond and you don't come to IDC, you are nuts.
4 Orlando locations.
Bam! Napleton has your Ram during Ram Power Days. At Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, lease your new 2019 Ram truck from only $249 a month. That's about $8 a day. Or how about Jeep Wrangler Unlimited from only $309 a month? Get to Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram at Kissimmee and Claremont. Your ride, your way today. All offers plus tax tag $899 for the pay $199 processing with free credit. See NapletonCJD.com for full program details.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, this is Knightline, the morning after, as Tracy just said there. We're broadcasting from the Victory Casino Cruises.com studios on ESPN 580. I'm Andrew Phegley, of course, and Roger, a.k.a. Night Bingle, and Chase also joined me here today. You can call now, 844-225-5580, 844-225-5580, or you can text us at 21232, and we will discuss these things with you guys. That's what this is all about. So if you want to do that, do it now. It would be a great time. So another thing that I want to talk about, before we went to the break, we were talking about a little bit kind of how far we've come. I want to continue that a little bit with the overnight explosion. I say overnight with air quotes because it wasn't technically overnight, but it has been a little bit of an explosion onto the national stage. Kind of, in some, if you don't follow everything that UCF does and you don't follow everything in college football, it can seem like an overnight thing.
College football community. It may be something where it's an overnight explosion. Their experience of UCF is really limited to the last couple of years, right? Because we talk about wanting to be prominent and relevant and all those adjectives for who we want to be, but we are. And it really speaks to me to leadership and passion by the fan base, right? We never went away quietly. We had 2013 where we kind of became a blip on the radar, right? We won the Fiesta Bowl. And then 2014, we almost got there again. And then 2015, we fell off a cliff. So the expectations of the rest of the national college football community was that we were that Western Michigan blip on the radar. What they've realized now, what they've experienced, and what these undefeated seasons have done for us, they've given us a platform to really say, hey, we can do this for a longer period of time. And then with Dylan Gabriel coming in, it wasn't all about Mackenzie Milton. It was about the program. So when you're talking about overnight explosion, it truly is, maybe not for us because we've seen it building over time, but the folks that are just, casually looking at their ESPN scores and maybe reading their ESPN stories, they're just now getting that experience.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Roger, how long have you been a Knights fan, by the way?
Well, without giving all my gray hair away, I started college in 1999 at UCF for engineering. So I am one of the original Citrus Bowl guys. I was there for the Bowl Queen, for those of you that are old enough to remember that. Chase is probably not. But I was there the entire time. So I've been a fan since I went to school and started in 99. Culpepper had just left, so there was a lot of buzz. And it was super exciting.
Right on. I was not there for the Bowl Queen, and it shows.
Well, that's all right. Well, I mean, as a lot of you know that listen to my podcast, Knightline, anywhere you can find podcasts, by the way, you would know that I have not been around UCF for that long. And I'll tell the story real quick here. My wife actually was the UCF graduate. I went to the University of Kansas. I played football there as a walk-on. And so I moved to Florida in 2009. So I've been here 10 years now. I think I am officially a Floridian now that I've been here 10 years, I think. I think that's kind of the thing.
Did you get your complimentary pair of sandals?
Of course.
Okay, then yes, you are.
Yeah.
Well, and you feel cold when it goes anywhere below 70 degrees.
Oh, yeah. It was freezing this morning. It was 67 at my house, and it was freezing when I walked outside.
Yeah,
so.
You're Floridian now.
Yeah, so I've been following the Knights and UCF in general since 2010, basically. My wife took me to a football game, and, I absolutely loved it. I fell in love with the stadium and the whole, everything that they did, basically, except that whole black and gold thing that they do back and forth. Never have really liked that.
Black and gold is better than what they're doing now.
Go Knights, charge on.
Yeah, my son and I, we both still say black and gold. So when it comes to my side of the field, because I'm in the cabana and they say gold,
that's the one thing that I just don't like about the game day experience.
I think we can all agree that it's a lot better than the Unite salute.
Hey, listen, I still have my patch.
Hey, who do you think gave you that patch? I was Mr. Unite, and so, it was awkward telling people to hold hands every once in a while.
So you were the guy, huh?
Yes, I was the guy with the megaphone, just shouting at people. I did get in trouble because they wanted me to promote all the games, and so I said, come watch UCF beat up some Miners, the UTEP Miners, this Saturday. Yeah, they didn't like that.
That probably wasn't good. All right, but still, I think that it has been kind of an explosion onto the national stage. Maybe not overnight.
The other part about it is we have more access, right? So we have more nationally televised games. On top of that, we've got social media platforms. And the cool thing about us is if you look at any of the metrics, and this is really Eric DeSalvo and the social media team over there.
Eric DeSalvo does an incredible job, by the way.
We are one of the most engaging fan bases. And when you look at it per living alumni, we are, I think, top 2 as far as the most engaged fan bases on social media. So we can reach a huge audience. And yes, sometimes some of our fans drive us nuts. Right? Myself included. I'm one of those guys. But we're boisterous. We've clearly got the attention. I mean, to the point where we were getting in, Herb Street's head and some other folks. So what that does is it gives us a product and a stage for us to really present ourselves and keep ourselves in the limelight. Whereas before, like when I started school, we're sitting there trying to find games online and whatever to try to be able to watch it. But we've got an engaged fan base, and that really started with DW, right? When DW came out and he said...
Danny White, the athletic director?
Yep, when he said national champions, that really galvanized the entire fan base, and it's kind of snowballed. And yes, we're going to have bandwagoners, but we're the challenger brand, and that's who we want to be. We want to be that challenger brand. And the way I always talk about it is we're basically Miami of the 2000s without all the bad things, right? We're in your face, we're brash, we're confident, and they're doing it in a way when you listen to the players, they're confident, but they're not talking smack. And they're backing it up on the field. And when that continues to happen and we continue to produce on the field, it's just building this mystique and getting everyone involved. There's nothing like being in the stadium, standing up on a kickoff, and hearing the UCF Knights, whether it be at our games, whether it be Orlando City Soccer, whether it be away games sometimes, you hear that this fan base is engaged, and we're ready to go, and we support the team.
Yeah, and you hear that anywhere in Orlando. I mean, at any of those things, and I love to hear it at the stadiums of the games that we're playing. That UCF Knights on the kickoff is incredible. That's yes. So lots of things have happened around here. Danny White is doing an incredible job. Who knew that those 4 words or whatever 5 words that he said, undefeated national champions, would be such a big deal on Twitter and everything else. So we're going to take another break here real quick, and then we'll come back. We're taking your calls, by the way, 844-225-5580.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Hey, boss. How's it going?
Don't even talk to me.
Uh-oh. Sounds like you're having a moment.
It's not a moment. It's just been one of those days.
Boss, what happened?
So I'm driving around doing errands and stuff. I counted 14 Safe Touch security signs while I was out. 14!
Well, I guess word's out that Safe Touch is the best.
I mean, there's Safe Touch signs in yards, Safe Touch stickers on drive-thru windows, Safe Touch on billboards, Safe Touch on the radio. I'm about to lose my mind.
Boss, it's okay. There's still plenty of houses out there without Safe Touch.
Yeah, but the more people hear about the two-way communicator, the guaranteed response time, the crash and smash.
What do kids say these days? Safe Touch is going viral. Kind of funny when you think about it.
Oh, I hate Safe Touch.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Can you imagine buying a TV or a car, using it for a year or two, and then taking it back to trade it in for a new model, and the retailer gives you a full refund plus an extra 10% toward the new one? Yeah, never happened, right? But it does happen at International Diamond Center with our 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. It works like this. When you buy any diamond at IDC and keep it for at least a year, we'll give you back 110% of your original purchase when you decide to upgrade to a larger stone. For example, you buy a diamond today for $5,000. When it's time to upgrade, IDC will give you $5,500 toward the new diamond. That's guaranteed 10% appreciation when you trade up. Think about it. IDC will give you more than you paid us for the first diamond. This is for any engagement ring center stone as well as all diamond solitaire pendants and all diamond stud earrings. You get 10% more value when you trade up. Just another example of how we stand behind everything we sell. International Diamond Center. Get locations, directions, and store hours at shopidc.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses right here in Orlando? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll be introduced to our 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Orlando area who want to learn how to get started making money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Orlando is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where we'll share how to get started making money flipping houses and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Island H2O Live, a new wave of water park.
Experience the next generation of fun at Island H2O Live. You choose the music, you choose the lighting, and you choose where to share your memorable moments at Florida's newest and most immersive water park.
Island H2O Live.
Now open in Kissimmee, located off US 192 and State Road 429 on Inspiration Boulevard.
Island H2O Live.
Now you can listen to ESPN 580 Orlando on your smart speaker.
Alexa, play ESPN 580.
Hear all your favorite ESPN 580 shows just by saying,
"Hey Alexa, play ESPN 580 on TuneIn."
ESPN 580 Orlando from TuneIn. And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, this is Andrew Phegley back at the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio with Knightline the morning after. Joining me, obviously, if you were tuned in before on the other segments, this is Roger Nightbingle over here, and Chase is here as well. We're taking your calls, 844-225-5580, or your texts at 21232. Haven't gotten either one of those today. I think people are sleeping in today.
Yeah, it's like, did the fans just take a bye week too?
They must have. It's all good, though. We'll talk. We can talk. It's all good. We'll just have a little conversation here.
Absolutely. Maybe they were watching the late night MWC clash with Hawaii and Boise.
That could be it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a little bit of it before I fell asleep, so definitely. And I did not fall asleep because the game made me fall asleep or anything like that. Nothing like that. It's just it was time. It was time to go to sleep. All right, so we've been having a conversation about how far UCF has come and kind of the overnight explosion onto the national stage. I want to continue that conversation here with basically, in a way, how the teams have beat us in the last, couple of games that we've lost this year. Not back-to-back, thank goodness. We haven't gone there yet. We still have our home streak. That is the one streak that we still have, by the way. So, that's good. There is still a streak going. Home wins, and I think it's at, I don't know. I don't even know how many.
Well, and I don't think ECU stands much of a chance of breaking it. So I feel comfortable saying next week we'll keep that streak.
Yeah,
alive.
And I haven't seen a line on that or anything yet. I don't think that's out yet. But a little bit. I know, Roger, you break down the X and O's quite a bit. You're pretty good at it. So let's talk a little bit about how Pittsburgh and whoever the other one was, Cincinnati, was that kind of, that beat us. Not kind of beat us. They did beat us. Very small point margin, of course. But let's talk a little bit about that. But then let's also talk about how they're reacting afterwards, because that's what I feel is the thing that shows us that we have arrived, because these people are storming the field. They're making T-shirts. They're doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Who would have ever thought that, you're going to get a T-shirt from Pittsburgh, the same pit that blew us out at home? I remember that game, unfortunately.
And then we blew them out at our home the last time.
Exactly. And then, we've got an autonomous 5 who are supposed to be better, and they have the facilities and the dollars and all that. And they're making T-shirts after a win against us. I mean, how amazing is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that shows that we've definitely arrived. I mean, I think it's a little crazy, personally. I was shocked when I saw their T-shirt, but obviously they thought it was a good idea.
I still think it was technically an illegal play.
Well, go ahead with that, actually.
Because the quarterback moves forward while the ball is being snapped, which is technically a false start. Like, I don't want to be tinfoil. Oh, it's not supposed to be this, that. Like, I mean, it is what it is. We lost. It sucks. Whatever. But, I mean, at the same time, if you're going to hype a play, bit illegal.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, yeah.
Well, what I would say
trick
to that,
plays are the worst. I've said this a million times. I hate trick play. I love it when they go for us, but when they're used against you, they're absolutely the worst thing that happens.
But trick plays in general and just scheming in general, the original question you started with was, how are they beating us, right? And I think that really speaks to and really ties into the having arrived piece of it, or at least a certain semblance of respect with the trick play. The fact that Cincinnati had an entirely new defense they had never showed all season.
And they had worked on it since the spring, from what they were saying.
Yeah,
they had worked on it the entire time just specifically for UCF.
You cannot let me say this. Last year left a bad taste in their mouth. I mean, we had game day, and it was really hyped. We had the false start during the game. They knew we brought it, right? So, again, it goes back to what we were saying before. Every team is bringing their A game, but not only their team, their athletic administration. They handed out clappers at Cincinnati, those round tubes, boomsticks to make it super loud. So, when you're talking about scheme, our offensive linemen had never seen that scheme before. They were actually, The Athletic wrote an entire article about the fact of how Cincinnati beat us. I mean, the very fact that The Athletic, a national publication where a lot of folks have kind of gone to, wrote something about us, was pretty amazing. But it really all comes down to scheme. If you've been working on something off-season for a specific team, it's very difficult as an offense to be able to react to that because you've never seen it on tape before. I know for a fact that they were prepping for a 4-3 defense, right? And what they showed was a 3-5-5.
Which you don't see very often anyway, and you've never saw it from them. So,
and from our scheme, our motions in the O-line, everything that's everybody, all the movement to create space for our skill players, if the offensive line has never seen that before, doesn't have the scheme, doesn't have keys, right? Because they can't key on anything if you've never seen the defense before, it makes it very difficult. And I think you saw a lot of that with missed assignments, offensive linemen going the wrong direction. And what it turned out to was we had a lot of pressure in the backfield on our freshman quarterback.
So do you think that is a coaching mistake, that they didn't really practice against something like that? Because they weren't expecting it. This team had never shown it before, ever, on tape.
No, I think it was Luke Fickell actually pulling a rabbit out of a hat, quite frankly, and respecting us. In no way, shape, or form was that on Heupel, in my opinion, right? He schemed for a 4-3, right? That's what they had shown all season. That's what they showed in the past. A 3-5-5 is a very exotic defense that not hardly anybody runs in the NCAA.
And not as their base.
No.
I mean, they switch to it sometimes. Of course, it's basically a nickel, defense. But you'll switch to that at certain times, but you don't run it as your base. I don't know anybody that runs that as their base defense.
Well, let's put it this way. They had nickels that were coming up as D linemen.
Right.
Okay, so they knew from the start that they didn't want to get worn out like they did last game, right? So if you've got a 4-3 and you can't rotate, and our offense is predicated on speed and snapping the ball. We usually snap within 10 seconds of the time that the play clock starts, right? When you do that, they can't substitute, and when they can't substitute, we wear them out. What they've done is they brought a lot more athletic bodies up on that defense by having less defensive linemen and having more defensive backs, large, big defensive backs, right? And bringing them up to be able to run with us because they're more athletic. If you're 305 pounds on a defensive lineman on the line and you're playing 90 snaps per game, which most other offenses, you're running 90 snaps for both sides. We're running 90 snaps just on our side.
Right.
So you're going to wear them out. So this was a very thoughtful, articulate, laid out plan, and they executed well. So could Heupel have anticipated that? No.
I don't think
expect
so,
him to.
Yeah.
Pretty much, like, you hit the nail on the head, pretty much. Like the whole thing about, like, this, it's flu game. Come on.
It's all good. It's all good. I was smiling at you because you covered that really well, dude.
It was one of those, like, the problem that we faced against Pitt and against Cincy is the fact that our O-line is just getting decimated. Like, Dylan Gabriel, we expect him to do a lot of things, but, like, when he has a pocket that doesn't even last him, like, a whole second, then I think it's one of those points where we kind of missed Mackenzie Milton because he was able to do a little bit more. Like, I feel like also the downside for us is that we haven't seen Gabriel move a lot more. We've been seeing Gabriel stay in the pocket. I think it's Heupel. This is me speculating. This is maybe Heupel having a little bit of fear of, okay, what happened with Mackenzie? I don't want that to happen to Dylan.
And I actually think that that's on the other side as well from Dylan. And this is what I'm starting to hear from a few people. And I have sources, and, you know, I usually don't say a lot of stuff until I know for a fact, but I've heard through multiple people that Dylan is a little bit gun shy to run because of what happened to Milton. And I wouldn't doubt that Heupel is a little bit, but Heupel did say this week during his press conference that he had that he wants to see Dylan move and use his feet a little bit more and make plays.
Well, Dylan, I mean, in high school, he didn't really move around a whole lot. And then on top of that, I think I read somewhere he was a 4.95 40.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Who knows how that's...
You can move around in the pocket, right? You can step up.
We've seen him run for touchdowns. Though.
Yeah. No, 100%. But he's not Mackenzie Milton. He's a different quarterback, right? Now, the thing I will say about that, when you were talking about the offensive line and all of that stuff, he, especially with Cincinnati, he'd never seen a defense like that. He'd never been prepped for a defense like that. So in an RPO, you're making decisions pre-snap on where you want to go, right? And so if you're confused and you don't have keys, you're not prepared for it, are you going to hand the ball off? Are you going to pass? And I think for him, his comfort zone is to step up and try to make a pass.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, one of the next things that I want to talk about here real quick is who you would consider your offensive MVP. This is halfway through the season, and there's quite a few guys, you know, that have done a good job. Roger, I'm going to go with you first. Who is your offensive MVP so far?
For me, it's got to be Gabe Davis. The offense runs through Gabe Davis. The man is going to be in the NFL next year. It's sad for us, but good for him. He puts in the work. He's a great team leader. He's just he makes people look silly. So when we're talking about our whole offense being predicated on getting one-on-one matchups, I feel comfortable, and so does Dylan, on getting the ball to him.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's Gabe Davis as well, because there's been a lot of throws that Dylan has thrown and Gabe has bailed him out on. Like, he's such a stellar wide receiver, and I know their offense is going to go down a little bit next year when we lose him, but he's just so good. I mean, right now, he's already at 669 yards for the season. He's going to get 1,000 easily. So right now, I'd have to say it's Gabe Davis.
All right. Well, I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction, and I'm going to go with Dylan Gabriel, because none of that happens if Dylan Gabriel doesn't throw Gabe Davis the ball. So, and I think that Dylan is just going to be an incredible quarterback. We haven't seen I don't think even scratching the surface with him yet as far as what he's going to be able to do.
He's
All
a
right.
freshman with 6 games. We haven't.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about our defensive MVP next.
Hold your breath. The home of the NFL is ESPN 580 Orlando. Yes! Another triple header Sunday when the Miami Dolphins come off their bye week and welcome the Washington Redskins to Hard Rock Stadium. Kickoff at 1 p.m. Then at 4 p.m., the Dallas Cowboys look to get back on the winning track against the Saints. And Sunday Night Football sees the Steelers take on the Chargers. Then we wrap it all up Monday morning with Golick and Wingo at 6 a.m. right here on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Football lives here.
That one is looking and good. The 2019 football season is upon us, and you can get the latest news, odds, and information at betonline.net. From trades and rookie draft picks to new coaching staffs, the offseason has brought about plenty of change to each of the 32 teams. Follow along at betonline.net as the top teams in football begin their journey to Miami. Available on your laptop or mobile device. Check out the site today. Bring the game home at betonline.net.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Bam! Napleton has your Ram during Ram Power Days. At Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, lease your new 2019 Ram truck from only $249 a month. That's about $8 a day. Or how about Jeep Wrangler Unlimited from only $309 a month? Get to Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram in Kissimmee and Claremont. Your ride, your way today. All offers plus tax tag $899 for the fee of $199 processing on the group credit. See NapletonCJD.com for full program details.
Football season is here, and time to treat your lawn with Sunnyland Professional 1608 Weed and Feed Fertilizer. Sunnyland Professional Fertilizers can only be purchased at all Lowe's Garden Centers. Go to SunnylandCorp.com to print your $2 per bag mail-in rebate. This rebate is good for all Sunnyland Professional Fertilizer products all year long. Buy Sunnyland Professional and save. Sunnyland Fertilizers are the choice of the UCF Knights and the Florida Gators. Sunnyland Fertilizers, made in Florida just for Florida lawns since 1884. The Florida Gun Show is Saturday and Sunday at the Central Florida Fairgrounds. Concealed weapons certification classes will be taught both days during the Florida Gun Show, with a huge variety of handguns, shotguns, knives, accessories, and collector's items for purchase. You won't want to miss this show. For more information on the Gun Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Central Florida Fairgrounds, please visit FloridaGunShows.com. The Florida Gun Show is Saturday and Sunday at the Central Florida Fairgrounds. We hope to see you there.
Coming up Monday, Yanks, Stros, Cards, Nats. We'll have the latest from both championship series, plus recapping Steelers, Chargers, previewing Lions, Packers, and all of NFL Week 6 action, and who won the weekend. Golick and Wingo Monday.
Beginning at 6 on your Alexa smart speaker, just say play ESPN 580 Orlando.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, live from the VictoryCasinoCruises.com studio, this is Knightline, the morning after. I am Andrew Phegley. Joining me is Roger Nightbingle and Chase as well. You can call us 844-225-5580 or text us 21232. Haven't had either one of those today, but that is perfectly fine. I'm good with it. But I expect next week after the bye week, after an actual game, I expect people to call. So hopefully that will happen. It's all good though. So I have a clip here that I want to play, and it is Jeff Allen talking about the other games that happened in the American this week. All right,
time now on Knightline the morning after to take a trip around the AAC. Temple survived a 30-28 home victory over number 23 Memphis. Both teams now 5-2. The win secured when a bid for a diving catch by Tigers tight end Joey Magnifico to convert a 4th and 11 was overturned by instant replay. Second time this year, Temple has knocked off a top 25. Cincinnati rolls to a 38-23 win over Houston to join Temple at 2-0 in the Eastern Division. Desmond Ritter threw for 268 yards and 3 scores, as well as picking up 50 on the ground and another score. South Florida rallies to beat BYU 27-22 at Ray J. The Bulls now 3-3 on the season. Jordan Cronkrite ran for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tulsa improves to 5-1 with a 49-7 win over UConn. Justin McMillan went 18 of 24 for 231 and 2 touchdowns. Also picked up 37 on the ground and a TD there. And Navy romps over Tulsa 45-17. Quarterback Malcolm Perry rushing for 218 yards. As we mentioned, the standings in the American in the East Division, Temple and Cincinnati are at 2-0, and SMU and Tulane 2-0 in the West. I'm Jeff Allen. For complete coverage of the American, join me for the latest AAC Report podcast, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
All right, well, we did hear from Jeff Allen. That was good. Thank you, Chase, for getting that together over there. All right, well, yeah, okay, so let's go back. That threw me all off. It's all good, though. Defensive MVP. Let's talk about that really quick so far.
Well, for me, it's got to be Nate Evans. He is a difference maker on the defense. You saw that last week. He had a monster game. He's also a senior leader, and when we're going through a situation right now like we are with the 2 losses, he's the guy that everybody's going to turn to as the heart and soul to get everybody, keep everybody focused and move them forward. Although Tay Gowan should earn a mention. He's done wonders in Bam's spot. When Bam went out, he was kind of thrown into this. He transferred in. We didn't really have depth, and we didn't know what we were going to get with him. We thought he was going to be good, but he's played really, really well.
Absolutely. Chase, what do you got?
I would say yes, Nate Evans was going to be my pick. I'm going to try to also be a little bit different, so I'm not stealing from Roger. I think also you should kind of give a little bit of love to Aaron Robinson, especially coming off of that injury last season where he missed the entire season. He still has only 22 tackles, 5 passes defended, and an interception. Him and Anton Collier are a really good secondary.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to go a little bit different than both of y'all because I think that a guy that doesn't get recognized nearly as much as he should, Neville Clark. Neville. I call him both of those things. It could be either one. But I think that he really shuts down that side of the field like about 99% of the time. He's gotten some bad calls on him this year for pass interference, and I don't believe any of those have been pass interference, which is really kind of an interesting thing. He does such a good job blanketing that wide receiver that's over there that he is my defensive MVP.
He's also an NFL player. So we talked about Gabe Davis
question.
a little bit.
He came back for his senior year. I think it makes a huge difference, especially losing Bam. To have him over there, imagine we would have had a sophomore and who knows who playing over there on the other side. So he does a wonderful job over there. All right, so next, I think I want to go into some of the controversial things here real quick. That we don't have very much time, but I want to go into these real quick. Should there be so much negative talk about coaching staff? Should there be so much negative talk about players? And should people tag players in negative social media posts? Real quick, what's your opinion on that, Roger?
Okay, my quick and dirty on that is the coaching staff. I think there's a difference between attacking and questioning. For the players, support the players. 100% support the players. These guys basically have a full-time job that they're working, plus they're doing well academically. So they're great ambassadors for our community, for the UCF community, and there's so much that goes into it from strength and conditioning and everything else that 100% support the players. Do not, and I'm going to say this emphatically, do not tag players in negative posts. I feel very strongly about that. Just don't do it. If you think you're going to do it, if you've been drinking, whatever, put it down, put the phone away. These guys do not deserve it. Again, they are out there doing this on our behalf for our entertainment. And yes, we are supporting them. Yes, all that is happening, but do not tag them.
especially since the fact that these guys are still just kids. Like, overall, they're still kids, and I've never felt any use. Though, I don't see what the point is of tagging someone in a negative post. Like, what? Okay, they lost. Oh, and now you're going to say all this? Like, what good is that going to do? So, I mean, the coaching, I know we've all had our gripes about some of the play calling and all that, but, like, you just can't attack these 18 to 21-year-olds. Like, they're still growing up. They're still maturing. And the last thing they need is their fan base harping on them saying that they suck and using expletives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, well, guys, this has been awesome. Both of you. Chase, I hope you feel better. Roger, thank you so much for coming and supporting us. And you always call and text and all kinds of stuff. And by the way, that was Roger's text here last week or the week before that was in like 15 pieces,
the puzzle text,
by the way.
okay.
That was Roger.
It was one text. I swear to God, it was one text.
They were there for us, now we need to be there for them. The Hometown Heroes Alliance aids wounded and injured first responders and their families from around the country in many ways. Financially, emotionally, and by providing outdoor adventures to honor the sacrifices. The Hometown Heroes Alliance is a 501c3 charity, and your tax-deductible donations can be made right online at hometownheroesalliance.org. That's hometownheroesalliance.org. 99% of your donation will go straight to these programs. Be there for the heroes. hometownheroesalliance.org.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also check out The Little Greek's newest location at 3131 Daniels Road, Suite 104, Winter Garden, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous.